Oh my, what have I done? So what you're looking at here is the box lid to an Orc Mega Force. Now these Mega Forces were out several years ago and they were very large collections and were very, very aggressively priced. This one here, the Orc one came with a truck, 40 boys, 9 bikes, and a unit of Ludus Burnus. And I think they were like right around $200 at the time. So it was an insane deal even back then. And now one of these would just be insane. So I bought a collection from my cousin who no longer desires to build the Orc army that he once wanted to. Mainly because he's got way too many other armies going on that he's trying to update and paint a Seraphim, mostly right now. So you actually have 2 of these battle Mega Forces, one of which is virtually untouched, and a whole bunch of other stuff too. Just so much stuff. So we got another unit of Ludus and Burnus. So we got a total of three boxes of this stuff, equivalent. 1 in each Mega Force on this one. Yeah, so we got that. So we got like 12 Ludus. 1 box of knobs. It's open but untouched. Another box of boys. Unopened. And this was from my local gaming store. I actually put the date of when their inventory come in. And this one was January 1st, 2010 is when this was received by my local gaming store. So that tells you how long that's been. So we got 2 unopened boxes of Storm Boys, which are a more recent purchase. There's no date on these. Got an unopened box of Grots, again from January 2011. Another box of Grots, some of which have been built. An old metal Gazi, which again is from April 30th, 2010. So this was purchased, this was received by my local gaming store exactly 10 years ago. That's how long my cousin has had this stuff, just sitting on his shelf. So it's not all untouched. So what we got here is a bag of boys. These are about 55, that's what I counted. I've got 11 sprues. I've got 11 sprues, so 5 per sprue of torsos and legs missing, and they also have the Shuta arm installed, and that's it, just legs, torso, and the Shuta arm, no head and no support arm. But yeah, I've got all the sprues to go with these guys. Oh, and there's also a complete set of models from Assault on Blackreach, which is awesome. So we got 3 Death Copters, and the Ludus, 10 of the Ludus are assembled this far too, and I got all the bits to finish these guys. But most importantly, I got the Blackreach War Boss. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So we got all these contents for Assault on Blackreach on top of it, and we got just a loose battle wagon. I think I traded this to him for a box of cans that he bought. So, and I got everything, all the accessories to go with that. Yep, we got all the accessories to go with the battle wagon. So that's good to have. And we got this thing, which is an old rock lobber, I think. I'm not exactly sure what exact it is, but don't really have any need for it, I don't think. I don't want to just use this as one mech gun. That really won't work very well. Yeah. So let me just kind of change my picture here, and I'll be right back. So this is most of the contents of one of these Orc Mega Forces. There are 6 of the bikes missing out of this, but everything else is still here on sprue. So we got, these are a boy sprue, not taken apart because all 3 of them stuck together fit in the box. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4 untouched boy sprues. So we have a Ludus and Burnus sprue, again, completely untouched and not taken apart. One of the bike sprues still got, I thought we had built all these bikes, because I'll show you what the bikes have been looking like in a bit. But there's still one more sprue of bikes. I thought we had all of his built, but guess not. And there's also 3 more loose ones, so I've got 6 bikes in addition to that. And here's the truck on sprue. And lastly is a big, huge bag of worthless 25mm bases. Because, of course, this was many, many years before the 32mm. So just imagine this box plus 2 more of these, and that's what a Mega Force was. And again, at the time, they were such an incredible value, and at the time, I just didn't have the money to get one. I really wanted one. Because 9 bikes, I mean, basically, you're paying for the bikes. You bought the bikes in the truck, and you got the rest of it for free, basically. That's how good of a deal it was. Oh, and then Battle Wagon accessory sprue to go with the Battle Wagon. So we got everything needed for the Battle Wagon. Yeah, so it's just an insane amount of plastic. I can't believe. So we got all completely untouched boy sprue, and these were from at least 2010. So we know those were before probably 2008, 2009. So these are pretty relatively new to the molds, because of course, you know, when these were remolded, when the Codex was released in 2008, so these were done not long after the molds were created. So these are going to be pretty fresh, pretty well molded models with minimal flashing, and they do in fact have very minimal flashing on them, which will make them even easier to build. And I was looking at some of the boys that are already started to be assembled. They're not cleaned up much, and it's really hard to tell. So that's what fresh molds are good for, is low flashing. So that's even more exciting, the fact that these are so old with that minimal flashing. The only bad side, of course, is we've got more bases to come up with. So yeah, this has just been a ton of Orks. 2 Mega Forces. This is awesome. The question of what the heck am I going to do with all this stuff? To be honest, I don't really even need any of it. So let's talk about my plans, and I'll be right back. Okay, so these were some of the bikes from that collection that I painted up and to start to use. I needed more bikes for my stuff, and he wanted these guys painted up anyway, so it was kind of I was able to use these for a while, but now they're mine because they were included in the bundle. But so this was the original idea. He wanted to go with the light blue skin, which I then came up with a paint scheme and used on my Orcs and Goblins army. And at the time I decided to go Goths because I figured the contrast between the black and white armor and the blue skin would look pretty good, and it does. On a very simple basing with just black rocks, snow, and the occasional tuft. I even got some snow in the grass itself. I like that. But yeah, that was essentially what I was going to do with these guys, is just make them all Goths, because at the time it didn't matter. And I'm definitely not going to go back and repaint these bikes, because I've done 18 of them. I've got a full unit of, well, it was at the time full unit of 15 and a couple extras and a paint boy conversion, all done up on this light blue paint skin tone. So what we're going to do is, my plan tentatively right now is to build an entire army, paint it like this in the blue skins, and sell it off and use that money to buy stuff I actually want, because I just don't need any more infantry. And this is 100 between the 40 boys, the 80 boys that came in the Mega Forces, plus the 2 extra boxes. There's 100 Orcs, 100 boys, plus the 20 from Blackreach. There's 120 infantry in this collection, and I've already got hundreds and hundreds of inventory. I've got 6 full unit of boys, 35 Ludas, 30 commandos, 30 tank busters, or 35 tank busters, something like that. I don't need any more infantry. So the problem with building a list with this stuff is that we're going to be missing some of the key things, like mech guns. There's no mech guns here because they didn't really exist at the time, obviously. And so that's a big downside to this, is that if I do build a list, there won't be any smasher guns in it. But what I did come up with was probably a playable list. It does require a couple other models and a little bit of conversions, because you got to have a shock attack gun. I mean, that goes without saying. And that's the other thing that's really missing here is HQs. But there's that box of knobs I can use to convert up mechs and weird boys, which is probably what's going to end up happening. And it's all going to be Goths with this light blue skin. So the list I came up with is going to be 2 battalion detachments of Goths. One is going to be a Cult of Speed, one is going to be a Dreadwaw. So we're going to have the Cult of Speed with a Deathkiller War Trike and a Snargrim Snaz Trike, a Weird Boy and a Force Field Mech, 20 Grots, full unit of 30 Slugga Chopper Boys with Power Claw, the 12 War Bikes, and 9 Ludas, one of which will be the Spanner. So I'm going to use 1 command point on the Clever Spanner. I think that's a good amount of shooting there with the 9 Ludas. Then a second battalion detachment is going to be the Dreadwaw with the souped up Shaka, a War Boss, just the regular War Boss on foot with the Power Claw and the Tack Squig, another Force Field Mech, 10 Grots, and then we're going to have another unit of 30 Slugger Boys and a unit of 10 Slugger Boys, a full unit of Tank Busters, because there's, what is it, there are 10 Boys units, it gives me 10 rockets, plus the 3 rockets that are in the 3 units, Ludas and Burners boxes. That's 13 rocket launchers I can use to build Tank Busters. So that's pretty good, and reason to make some of those guys Tank Busters. Of course, Tank Busters are just good. And then we're going to have the heavy gun wagon, using the battle wagon with the kill cannon, which can always be upgraded to the Boom if you want. And then 2 trucks, because they're here, so might as well. So it'll be 1 for the Tank Busters, and then 1 can either be used for the Ludas, or it can be used for that unit of 10 boys, or you can use the boys to mob up. So it gives a little bit of flexibility in the list. So it's pretty simple. A little bit of firepower with the Ludas, Tank Busters, and the gun wagon, and there's a lot of boys, and then a lot of hitting power with the War Trike and the War Boss. Again, this would be very. I mean, you could use the Boomer, you could use the biggest boss on the War Boss, and you could even use the Squig High Tires on the War Bikers if you really wanted to. So yeah, you could be using a lot of command points to start the game if you want to. I mean, even the way it is, it's using 3, which takes it down to 10. And it can't be used showing off anyway, so that doesn't matter. So using a couple more points on the other things wouldn't be a bad deal. So you take 3 more points to get the Killer Claw, because that would be a 3rd artifact. So that's not an option. And instead you take the Boomer and Squig High Tires on the War Bikers. Take it down to 8, and you could use those 8 for Mordaka for the Ludas if you want, or the Tank Busters if you wanted to, or Unstoppable Green Tide, bring back 1 of the units of boys. And then of course you want to use the stratagem gives the War Bikers +1 strength when they charge. So that's an option. Of course, and getting 2 for the 2 turbo boosters that first turn. So yeah, I think this could be a very good looking list with everything black and blue like this. Black armor, white highlights, and this light blue skin. Well, it'd be a lot of work, and I'm not exactly sure if it's worth it or not. It'd be a lot of work because there'd be some conversions I'd have to do, and I'd still have to get a Deathkiller War Trike on top of it, which I can probably sell some stuff before then to afford to get to buy the War Trike. But I think that's an essential part of this list of the War Bikers, because that's something we wanted to do anyway. As soon as the War Trike came out, was to have him get a War Trike to go with his bikes. But again, this is an army that he was never going to do anyway, so now it's all my stuff. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I've got a lot more stuff than I really know what to do with right now, and it's a good thing I got time, right? So anyway, that is what's going on with my hobby at the moment. So again, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll put a link to the list I wrote in the description that goes to my blog, so you can see the list written out. If you don't have any comments on that, on any changes I should make, obvious, other than obvious ones like adding mech guns or whatever, this is going to be based on the models that I have more than anything. I said the big mechs, I can convert up using the knob bodies and either buying bits, making bits, or printing bits. So the only thing I'd really have to buy would be the war trike. And again, the tank busters we converted up using all the rocket launchers from all the boys boxes that I have. So that's not a problem either. And I got all the bits for the battle wagon, don't need any of that. So pretty much, yeah, the war trike would be the only thing I really need to finish it. So again, go ahead, and if you want to support the channel, there's the link to Patreon below. There's a join button below. There's only one tier of 99 cents a month. And for that, you'll get some background or behind the scenes stuff and STL files once they come out. Again, let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.